Good night, my stars. My name is Echo. I hope you had a lovely day, and I'm so happy to see you again tonight. Tonight, we are going back into our Copperdale High School Remake, and we are going to complete the full first floor entirely. So let's get started. So I started with choosing a wallpaper and flooring that I would carry out throughout the entirety of the high school. One of my favorite things to do in the interior of this build was making things a status quo, which if you've seen High School Musical, you know where I'm going with this. I'm just kidding. My main thing is I chose a lot of things that would look the same or that would function the same in order for it to feel more like a cohesive high school. High schools, especially public schools, aren't going to go the extra mile to make extra things look special or unique 9 times out of 10. So a lot of the same flooring and wallpaper are used, a lot of the same shelving type, a lot of the same curtains and those kinds of things. I also intend to carry this throughout the rest of the build for things like desks, computers, that sort of thing. I did all of this in a speed build completely silent so that way I could kind of discuss over it like I'm doing now, but also so that way you guys can not have to watch a 4-hour long video of me trying to decorate. I started then with what you're seeing now, which is the music room, something that I know fairly well. So I figured I would look into the different things that The Sims would allow us to have, which is including a piano, a microphone, a guitar, and violins. And that's really all music The Sims had to offer, especially because I was trying to keep to the high school years only. Sometimes that worked, sometimes it didn't. So we have a little like performance stage up here. We've got a guitar, a singing situation, a piano, and then some extra chairs for seating. We've got the chairs for the performance area. Then we've got some extra guitars, including one that is signed, which I thought would be kind of cool to throw up here as a fun little thing. And it kind of hides the stand it's setting on. And then we've got this little area, which is actually what I started with, which is not only their little trophy area, but also where they'll hold all of their violins. And I think this is the coolest thing. I sized up one of these violins to make like a big cello. I don't know why I love this so much, but yeah, so this is the little music room. I think I'm done in here. I don't think I have much else I want to do. So I think the next one I'm going to move on to is the art room, which should be just as easy for me, I think, as this one was. So. Okay, hello, I am back again. So, I think I'm done in this room. So, my plan for this was to kind of go in with it being this is an area that the art people can kind of hang out in, but also, a teacher could be up here guiding a class. I know it's kind of like hard to see. And now that I'm looking, I think I want to add another easel somewhere in here. I don't think anything in this room is functional, but so you have like a couple of students that could be doing art, and you also have like a teacher. So I tried to give the teacher like some extra canvases that are unused, a clutter cart. For each of the easels, I tried to give them this little like sketch thing, which I think is really kind of cool. There's a little cubby area over here, which has like randomized things that like I imagine there's paintbrushes and other things they can get. And then I try to add some like previous kids' art up here. I mean, they kind of have like the same style, almost as if they made it in this class. And then I've just scattered art like around trying to make it kind of look like this was either previous assignments that they left here or what. And then my two favorite things about finding here was this drying rack and this like sketch board thing that I just threw in the middle here. So that is that room done. That's the art room done. And I like that quite a bit. So our next one is going to be the computer lab, which isn't going to be very intensive. Okay, I think I have enough of this room. So I wanted it to kind of be simplistic because all the computer labs I remember from high school were very simplistic. They had a couple posters like back up in here, but really they were just pretty plain. I had this idea, don't mind the addition of these. I had this idea halfway through this that the same person that does the computer lab classes also does science. So I have like some building robotics computer stuff sat over here, but also on top of the computer programming, I've added the little science trophy. And then back here with the posters of the computer lab, there's also like the periodic table and some science things. So I thought that maybe that'd be kind of cute to have a like computer science room. So yeah, this is this room done. Also, while I was going through here, I realized that every high school I've ever been to, every class has a clock. So I added some clocks back into the other two rooms as well. That way we could have those just because that is important, I feel. So I think the next thing I'm going to move on to is the library, and I may do something with this hallway now that I have some doors figured out, but we'll see. Then absolute tragedy struck. I first picked out a beautiful archway that the library would have, and then I even found these cool signs that look like the doors have words on them. And then I actually started in on the library, and it was starting to look really, really good. I was filling out the bookshelves, I was having a grand old time with the book nook kit, and I started to really, really enjoy what I was doing. I got very, very far. And then I even added this cute little area over here that would be like the book return area, and I thought that was adorable. I was having a great time. And then right about here, my entire computer died. Like completely shut off. So I had to redo this entire process. Okay, so my computer crashed. And when I came back into the game, all of the library and the things I had done outside were all gone. So I made sure I double checked and went back and looked at the footage and made sure that all of this was taken care of and all of the other two rooms were still good and everything was good. I just lost all of the library and all of the outside. So I went back in and I changed some things up. I found this cool thing, which I think is pretty interesting. It's a framed book, which I put above the library to signify the library. So nothing really in here changed. I tried to kind of make it one to one. I filled out the bookshelves a little bit more so they're not so matchy matchy. I changed some of the I changed the desk around and I changed this like entrance area up a bit. So we just have like a trash can over here, but I've gotten this little like cute shelf. I'm sure this is a fake plant because it's so far away from the window. I put the clock up here and this little cart thing. And I have the computer here so she can like check in the books that she checks out. I'm assuming the librarian. So then I come over here and I have made this cute little, I don't know, sitting reading nook situation. This is also from the book nook kit, but I considered since the whole room is pretty much the book nook kit, I might as well just throw that in there because it's one of my favorite items in the whole game. So yeah, I redid it, but I tried to keep it as like semi close to what you had already seen as before. I just wanted to show it to you guys again because I did have to redo it. But okay, I'm struggling to decide what this room is going to be because this is my next room, and I think I might actually hold it off and go over here to the chess room, but which is what I've put this here for, which I think is kind of funny. I don't know if I'm gonna record these next like basic bits, but we'll see if I get a time lapse in. Okay, and I think this is the chess room done. So I wanted to kind of walk you through my ideas. So over here, we had this like setup area where I have put like a bunch of storage where they could store their extra chessboards, but they have too many, so they have some out here. Then I saw this, which this to me, like this top bit looks like a chessboard that I used to own. So I really wanted this in here, but then I noticed that under here is like CDs and other types of music things. So I added a little recorder. Thought that'd be pretty cute. This is not a chess thing at all, but it looked like it was to me. Then I've added all of these different chess awards up here. And then I thought of something really cool as I was doing this. This All-Star Award is something I also put into the music room over here. And I put it in the computer room as well. So I'm wondering if the All Star Award is something that maybe all of the high school gets. Like every year they do an All Star class or whatever, and All Star extracurricular or something. And so maybe the chess won it one year, you know. So I thought that would be pretty cool. Some fun little storytelling, you know. Then I literally just typed in chess here and went through all of these to figure out what I could find. And I found this, which is supposed to be like a photo backdrop, but I think it's kind of cute. Um I also had this imagery that like the teacher that does this is like an older lady and she has this like specific style that she wants to maintain of the chess thing, of the chess club. So she has this like antique stuff around, and then we get to this wall. This is a big blank wall I didn't know what to do with besides the fact that I wanted a clock and I wanted some sort of cork board almost. Because here's the thing about the chess club. In The Sims 4, high school years actually has the ability for you to join a chess club at high school. And they have like chess every other day or something like that. And they meet and I guess they play chess. I don't know. So I was thinking, what if they had competitions that the whole school could be a part of? And when that person, like, you get like second place, you get a little ribbon, you constantly get these like banners, which these are the chess banners themselves. And then you get the actual trophy if you win first place. And then so I decided to add a little chest over here where they like keep their trophies, but they have too many of them. So they've gotten like they're all flowing out and they're on the shelves and whatnot. And I've added 4 chess tables in this little room. So I mean that's plenty of chess tables, I feel. But that also would make sense as to how a chess trophy ended up over here, is if maybe a music person went to one of the chess meets and won it, and they brought it back and put it on the music. shelf. I don't know. I love making little stories like that. But I was mainly coming back so soon to discuss with you guys because, well, I have a bit of a problem, okay? I've gone upstairs, and previously we discussed this would be the English classroom, math, science, histories, detention, teacher's lounge. Then we had these four that are not really your normal class or core classes, and I didn't really know what I was going to do for those yet, but I think I finally figured it out because I was also trying to figure out what to do with this room. Since we have a whole wing of activities, I wanted another activity, and I thought of a great one. We'll get there. But so up here, we've got debate. I'm going to have like human sciences or medicine or doctorates, those kinds of things. Then we have animal, which essentially, because ag is hard to do in The Sims, but there is a cat and dog expansion pack that has vet stuff. So I thought about maybe doing that. The problem with this is every single one of these, including what I want to do downstairs, is a different pack. So, like for instance, the veterinary stuff is from Cats and Dogs. This science stuff is from Get to Work. This debate thing is from Discover University. So is the robotics that I want to do downstairs. This like crocheting thing is from a kit, I believe. I don't know where it went now, but so I originally started this out wanting to do a as strict as I could pack build for just high school years. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. I've been like using some things occasionally and just being like, I'm sticking primarily to high school years and base game, but I think I'm gonna shift that up a little bit. I'm still gonna like default to high school years, but some things, for instance, the robotics room is gonna come a lot from Discover University. So everything I mentioned earlier about doing a limited pack build, scratch it, completely throw it out the window, because I don't think that's happening anymore. I just want to make a cool high school. I want it to look cool. I want it to look like a normal high school. So yeah, scratch it all entirely. First things first, I found these. These are club banners from, I think the pack is Get Together. And so I changed the signs because, hello, they have music, they have art. Uh, we'll just go with computer lab, but they have chess. Look at that. So, I've I've completed the robotics room now. And this is kind of like I've changed it to a robotics, computer, just kind of a techie room in general. And it's partially a teaching area and partially just like a room for a club to hang out in. So, kind of noticing I've kept with like a gray theme in here. I have some future cubes on the desk. Mind you, these will be picked up by your sim. Like your sim will take these. But none of this, I don't think any of this room would stay if you only had like base game and high school years. So I apologize. Actually, no, one thing will. This will. Which by the way, your Sims will probably use to try and teach school. But anyways, uh I I love this room way too much to change it. Like the moment I was like, I'm not going to limit myself to one pack. All of this came together with perfect precision. So imagine these as people who, like, these are the people that do all of the recording for the school. So, like, we mentioned when we first started this process that there's like a track football-esque field over here. And I don't know about you, but my high school had its own newspaper and like website that all of our plans and things that we were doing throughout the year would show up on this newspaper and on this website. And we had an entire dedicated team to just the photographing, filming, and producing of that newspaper and that website. So I feel like that's who these guys are. And I love this room. Also, just a little thing, like there's this one set of tools in this entire room, and I imagine this is them keeping track of how many people have taken them and then how many times they've like not brought them back or something. Just something a little fun. But so that is the robotics room. I'm going to do these two common areas next, and I will be back to do a little tour. I am so glad I already made the distinction that I'm not keeping all this in because boy, that took me a long time. But The common areas are pretty much done now. Let me describe my vision. So, this already we had kind of discussed is going to be like a secretary's office. So, I gave her a window that she could talk to like the parents and stuff through. She has a fun little nameplate. And then I have this here, which looks like it could be all of the calendar for upcoming events or fun things. There's a cute little cat. I just thought it was cute. I made this like for a entrance area where people can kind of sit and wait and relax. Um, Now over here, I had set off this to the side. It's called a career day table, but I thought it would be kind of fun to display some of the works of the school. So, obviously I have like art, which is in here, and then I have this like robotics little alien guy, so like someone could sit there and be like, look what we do in robotics, you know. But the main thing that I was going for is I actually really liked the idea of having some that are upstairs. So I have this little fishbowl here that maybe like the ag or the vet area could do. And then I have this like hot cocoa stand, which could be like the home ec. So I thought that was kind of cool. One of my favorite little things to do in The Sims is to, if I have like foldable chairs or something, I like to add them over here. So, a fun little fact, if you have a chair, if you use the 9 key on your keyboard, for this cheat, you'll have to have the bb.move objects on. The easiest way to do that is to do Control Shift C on your keyboard, and you'll get this little search bar up at the top here, and you'll type literally bb.move objects. And if you hit enter, it will usually come up with bb.move objects on. And if you have that cheat on, you're able to use the 9 key and it will raise whatever you have holding up into the air. So, if I was to take one of these, I put it in the exact same spot that this one is in, I hit the 9 key, and it raises up just once to where it looks like it's stacked. So I love making little stacked chairs as if they could pull out more and have more seating over in this area. I think that's adorable. I also added this little, like, on both sides of these, I added some portraits, some paintings. So over here, I like the idea of this being like some of the students that have been here before, or maybe some photos that they have taken. Over here, though, this is like the diplomas or like what the school is good for, like what they're certified for essentially, and then maybe like the blueprints to the school itself. It kind of looks like the school. I mean, not really, but a little bit. And then I thought maybe these could be the owners because they look gorgeous. So, I've added a little rug here with this little guy, almost as if he's the mascot. I just layered this like over the top of this rug. And I thought that would be really cute. He could maybe be the mascot for this entire school. I thought that would be adorable. And then I've got the trophy cases, which these are just duplicated, and a nice clock. Now back through here, I thought would be a cute little janitor's area. So I made some like, I made it just be kind of a brick. And then it's really hard to see in here, but I just stocked this thing full with the most random things. Just some like clutter, maybe like a lost and found situation. So he has let a lot of these things all around. And I added some extra of the all-star trophies that they just keep on hand because I thought that would be fun. And then I thought this would be an interesting little touch. This is a duffel of cash, and I think it'd be kind of cool if like because no one but the janitor comes in here, he stashes his cash. Maybe he's doing some things on the side, I don't know. But so I thought that was pretty cute. Then over in this area, I once again went off the rails with the only using one pack thing. It didn't really work out that way because I wanted a Zen garden. I will be really honest with you. I had no idea what to put in this area, and the walls are so blank, and I don't think I'm gonna touch them. Because I think the part of the charm is the inside, you know? I don't know. All I know is I wanted a little Zen garden, almost like a cute little area where these guys can, like, these students can come and just sit and relax before maybe they just came down from upstairs and, like, the hard classes, so they want to sit and relax before they get to whatever they're doing in these extracurricular. I'm not for sure, but this is just a little Zen garden. I thought it was adorable. This floor and these rocks come from the spa day pack, so they're again not high school years in base game. But those are the two major common areas out of the way, and we've got this whole wing done. I think the next thing I'm going to be working on is these. Okay, holy shit. I think this is the biggest build I have ever done. So it's taking me so long. But that being said, I have finished the common area of the locker room, the bathrooms, the principal's office, and the associate's office. So, We have the locker area, which the locker area is very basic. It's literally just a couple of seating areas. The biggest thing is this right here, and I've decided that they're having a cheer or maybe a football situation coming up. So they have this up for the time being. Um, but one thing I thought was pretty cool is this is like a no teenager allowed zone. So this door is an exact copy of these doors, which are everywhere else, except they have frosted glass and they have this note that's like no teenagers. So that'd be pretty good for the principal's office and that kind of thing. So I have some more seating areas, and this is the bathroom. Both of them are literally identical. Here is the principal's office. So I've given them their own little like setup area over here. Instead of doing a desk, I preferred to do this because I wanted it to attach to this side of the wall as well, which I think is really cool. I've given them this board as well, so they have access to that. Another clock as well. Then I've made this little like comfort area, which with these paintings to make it look like they've kind of these are the older people that have showed up, and then these are the current owners. But I've given them a nice comfort area. Parents can wait, they can sit and chat. I even gave them a fireplace because the base game update that happened not too long ago gave us this new fireplace with the new swatches, and then a lovely little like stone rug to go with it, which I think is really pretty cool. All of these are base game, and it's one of my favorite styles from base game in general because they all match. They're beautiful. And then I gave some just extra artwork. Now, I this is the assistance or the registrations office, which obviously I had to get some file systems in here. I think this is amazing. These are from Get to Work, and they are individually placed. They're the most annoying thing. It took me forever just to do that. I have a nice couch sitting area, and then I have this desk, which could be like an assistant to the registration person. And then I have the actual registration person's desk with just some miscellaneous stuff all around. Um, and then they also have the board as well, so they can track what things get done when and where. So, the one major thing that I love about this is I have this little robot here, as if maybe the registration's kid or maybe just someone that they're close to is a part of the robotics team and gave them one of these robots from one of these exhibitions that they're doing out here for Career Day. I think that's absolutely adorable. And the one thing I wanted to show you real quick is how I did this trick as well as this in here. Because notice that this is two different island pieces, and then I've put a computer in the middle of it. The easiest way to do that, this is really simple. So you're going to get your island counter, whatever it may be. I don't know why I chose this one. I'll choose this one since it's easier to see. And this is like your setup, but you want it to go in the middle, right? So you get another one over here. You go ahead and attach your bar stool. I'm choosing the most godly colors. I hate it. And you attach your computer. And then you grab onto the bar itself and you hit the, I don't know what these are called. I want to say they're angle bracket keys, but I'm not really for sure. But you hit the left one to size down, and it'll just size down the actual counter itself. So you can then use your Alt key to nestle this into the middle here, and now you have a computer in the middle of two different island countertops. So that's one of my favorite little tricks. So that's how I did both of those computer setups. I chose kind of a neutral brown in these areas because I figured as like the adultier of the groups, you have more of a neutral calming tone in here. So I wanted to do more browns. Plus I just like the way they look for office spaces a bit better. Arguably one of the biggest rooms done, which is funny because we're staring and you're like, Echo, this is the biggest room and it's clearly not done. You're right. But this room's done, I think. I don't think I want to add too much more. So I want to start with some of the cooler things that I like about what I've done. I have made an open doorway. There's a pretty easy way to do this, and I'm going to show you kind of on a low level scale with this right here. All you're going to do is you're going to take a wall that you want to add an open door to. You're put an archway, okay? Then wherever you put that archway from one of the corners, you're going to draw a new wall. Just like this. You're going to draw it on the diagonal, okay? Then you're going to take whatever door you want, and you're going to want to make sure it kind of matches your door frame. And you're going to hold the Alt key on your keyboard, and you're going to scooch it close to where it kind of like blends in with that door. If you get a door that's like flipped over like this, you're just going to want to right click your mouse and then scooch it on in to make sure that doorknob fits correctly. Then you're just going to delete the wall behind it and boom, you have yourself an open doorway. So with that in mind, I made two open doorways here. So let's start over on the left. So we have these trophy cases here, and I've made myself some beautiful, I'm so proud of this. I've made some amazing benches, which this is just the high school years bench here, raised up to different levels using the 9 key on multiple different occasions. But I've also added the trophy cases back here to support the basketball group here. These are the exact same trophy cases from the front up here, and they're the exact same color and everything. I tried to change the swatch to get the stuff inside to change, but it doesn't do that. This is an old base game swatch, so they haven't updated it or anything like that. So unfortunately, that's not going to change. Then over here, I've added the cheering section. So obviously you can see I've got some pom-poms on the wall. I've got the cheering banner, the other cheering banner. And then I've made some chairs for them to sit in with their megaphones. And this is the actual chair mat, All-Star Golden Cheer mat from actually high school years. So that's pretty cool. So over on this side, on these benches, I have a nice couple sets of jerseys over here. And I have left these all open for guests and visitors and whatnot. I would also like to point out real quick, these slats are from Eco Lifestyle, and I've put them over all of the walls that have windows, but also I'm using them as like a sound barrier. So I remember my high school had a basketball gym that was like directly next to some classes that we did testing in, and they had these like foam background, like foam barriers on the doors to kind of like help minimize the sound. So I've tried to kind of recreate that here with these, technically they're wooden slats, but it works here. Don't ask me why I wanted to put the fire extinguisher here. I have no idea. I just did. So I did. I put it right there. But this is a cute little area. I chose this older computer because it looks like it may be one that's connected to the above sign up here, which is, I know this is a movie sign. Listen, I understand this is a movie sign, but let's use a bit of our pretend motion, okay? And this is going to be a score symbol for us, okay? And I've added a couple basketballs around to really sell the idea of what this room is. It's a pretty simple room. There's a lot of like open walls and stuff, which is another helpful thing about the slats. But I like it a lot. I like what I've been able to do, and I really enjoy the color scheme. It's like a nice muted yellow and orange, which is interesting. There's our basketball court done. So that is a good portion of this. Wow. That's a lot. Okay, I think I did something really cool here, and I wanted to tell you guys about it before I continued on with the rest of the cafeteria. But I wanted to give you a little background. So I already had an idea to make this like a little coffee nook bar thing. So I knew I wanted to kind of like separate it out a little bit. So this just helps even more. But I remember when I was in high school, one of our high school situations was we went to a like theater thing, and it was at a different school, and that school, all of their theater stuff was in the cafeteria. So they had a stage in the cafeteria where during the normal day when they didn't have theater things, they had these foldable long situations, and that's where the seniors would sit. And they had like a couple, but I think just one works for this class. But then they had more seating out in this area, which is probably what I'm going to add here in a little bit. But I just thought this was really cool. So I wanted to see if I could remake that in its own way to see if maybe this could be a partial cafeteria, but also they could turn it into a theater when they need to do something for drama class or something. I don't know. I think this is cute. I like this idea. I hope you guys like it too. I think this is adorable. So I just wanted to show you that before I finished up the rest of the cafeteria because I felt like this was needed to be talked about. Okay, I think this is gorgeous. Okay, so everyone, the floor one of my Copperdale High School remake is completely done. After so many hours, it is done. At least the first floor. Remember, we still have a whole top floor we have to do as well, which hopefully will go smoother because it's just classroom, so they should be copy and paste, right? Anyways, this is going to be a little bit of a tour of going through in kind of like a first person style. So there's a fun little feature in The Sims that you can do where if you're in build mode, you can hit tab and you'll be able to go through your build very, very slowly, as if you're in the eyes of a sim. So I decided that for tour time, I would take you through in the eyes of what it would look like for a student or anyone to walk into this building and to tour it. Now, that being said, this is the first time I've ever done this. This is the first time I've ever filmed this as well. So, this is kind of choppy and I don't move as slow as I probably should. I tried to speed this up because the actual movement of the camera is so slow. Like, I can't move forward very fast. But speeding it up made looking at things very difficult. So, we are just gonna keep with this same slow speed, but you'll get to see all the fun little details that I've added throughout the entirety of this build, because I didn't cover a lot of it. And for the sake of time for this video, because I'm looking at it now and it's almost an hour long, which would make the longest video on my channel so far, um, I I had to kind of cut some of the major building of these things. I started off with the most detail in the music room, so you got to see a lot of how that was made with the speed build, but kind of past that I stopped doing the speed builds. It was also tanking my computer, so I had to kind of just cut it to where I was just showing you the reveals once they were done. If there is ever a time that any of you that ends up watching this wants to see the hours long of me building something like this, then we will discuss that. That's totally fine. I do not mind that at all. I just didn't think that that would be the best thing for this particular session because this is the first time I've ever posted anything like this, so we'll see how it goes. But that being said, I hope you guys do like this first floor. I am absolutely in love with it. I don't think I've ever built anything that has made me this happy before, and I built a lot in The Sims. I've never built anything this big either, so I've been kind of like hesitant and hopeful that I could keep the same level of detail in each of the rooms as I did from like the very beginning. I think I've been doing well so far, so I'm hoping that stays the same as we continue through up to the upstairs. Overall, I'm really happy with how this has turned out, and I hope that you guys liked it as well. I will let you finish the tour without my yapping in your ear, and I hope you enjoy it. right, guys. So with that, I believe that this is our full first floor done. We have some amazing things that I am super proud of in this. I have never made a Sims build where I've been this proud. Now, I had some rocky moments along the way, and I definitely have some things that aren't necessarily high school, but I absolutely adore how this looks, and I am unbelievably happy with the end result. I hope you guys agree, and I hope you guys enjoyed this entire process. This has been a lot of fun so far, and I cannot wait to do floor 2. But with that, I do think that I see the sun. So that seems to be all the time that we have for tonight. I hope you had a good night, just as I did, and I hope you enjoy your beautiful morning coming up. We will meet again when the moon is high to see what another night will bring us. I love you all, and I hope you have sweet dreams. Bye bye now.